Heidi, Part 6. At last the evening came, and Heidi's heart was filled with happiness and joy. She danced and jumped about, as if a wonderful thing had happened to her. The grandfather stood watching her, when suddenly a whistle was heard. Down from the heights came one goat after another, with Peter. Heidi ran out into the middle of the flock, greeting her friend. 2 goats came out of the herd, one of them white and the other brown. They came up to grandfather, who held out some salt in his hands. Heidi tenderly hugged the first one, and then the other. "Are they ours, grandfather? Do they both belong to us? Are they going to the stable? Are they going to stay with us?" Heidi kept on asking in her excitement. The grandfather could hardly say, "Yes, yes, surely." When the goats had licked up all the salt, the old man said, "Go in, Heidi, and fetch your bowl and the bread." Heidi obeyed while the grandfather milked the white goat, cut a piece of bread, and told her to eat. "Afterwards you can go to bed. If you need something, Aunt Tita had left a bundle for you. Now good night. I have to look after the goats and lock them up for the night." "Good night, grandfather. Oh, please tell me, what are their names?" called Heidi after him. "The white one is named Sean, and the brown one I call Brel," was his answer. "Good night, Sean. Good night, Brel," the little girl called loudly as she went inside and up to her bed. She slept as well as a princess on his royal coach. Soon after, the old man got into his bed. He was always up in the morning with the sun, which rose early in those summer days. It was a wild, stormy night. The hut was shaking in the wind, and all the boards were creaking. In the middle of the night, the grandfather got up, saying to himself, "I'm sure she's afraid." Climbing up the ladder, he went to Heidi's bed. Heidi lay peacefully and was smiling in her sleep. The grandfather then went back down to his own bed. Heidi was awakened early next morning by a loud whistle. Opening her eyes at first, she did not know where she was, but when she heard her grandfather's deep voice outside, she remembered everything, how she had come up the mountain the day before. She was delighted to find herself in her new home, and hardly could wait to see the goats again. Jumping out of bed, she put on her few things and went down the ladder and ran outside. Peter was already there with his flock, waiting for Sean and Brel, whom the grandfather was just bringing to join the other goats. "Do you want to go with him to the pasture?" asked grandfather. "Yes," cried Heidi, clapping her hands.